Hello friends, today we will talk about the cure of asthma naturally. The first question to address is, what is asthma? Fortunately, this is the easiest of all the asthma questions to be addressed, because the medical profession as a whole is in broad agreement as to how to define and classify asthma. At its most basic, doctors agree that asthma is a respiratory disease that results in chronic inflammation of the airways. People often show symptoms well before asthma develops, because asthma can start with something as simple as a common cold or cough. Other symptoms that could potentially become asthma include sneezing, mild shortness of breath, or even something outside your lungs or respiratory tract such as a headache. The bottom line is that it is extremely common for the initial signs of asthma to be ignored, because they appear to be nothing more than the symptoms of a common, everyday condition such as a cough or a cold. This lack of awareness is one of the main reasons many people do not seek treatment for their asthma. According to the Asthma Society of Canada, as many as 6 out of every 10 Canadians who have asthma do not control their condition. This figure is expected to be similar in other developed Western nations. Because asthma is a chronic condition, it is one that has to be dealt with throughout your life. It causes inflammation, and therefore constricts the airways that carry air in your lungs. Consequently, this restricts the passage of air from the outside world through an asthma sufferer's lungs, making it difficult for them to breathe. Asthma sufferers' airways are sensitive to many conditions, such as moist, warm or cold air, allergens, stress or physical exertion. The muscles that surround the airways react to these conditions by contracting and narrowing the airways of a person with asthma. The problem is generally made worse by the fact that the muscles also cause excess mucus to be produced at the same time as the contraction, further blocking the airways. However, many of the most common signs of an asthma attack can often be recognized well before the condition itself is fully developed. Some of the signs of asthma are obvious, whereas others might not be as easily recognized and possibly the result of another medical condition. The less obvious the symptoms are, the earlier in the development cycle of asthma, or the less likely that the symptoms will turn into asthma. Less acute indicators that might fall into the early warning category could include any of the following: frequent mood changes, regular bouts of sneezing, restlessness, glassy or watery eyes, unexplained increased tiredness, dry mouth, persistent or constant headaches, sleeping difficulties, exercise intolerance, dark circles under the eyes, pale complexion. Obviously, all of these early warning indicators could suggest that asthma might become a problem, but they could also be the result of another serious medical condition. Consequently, you would not necessarily assume that any of the symptoms in the previous list is a clear indicator or precursor of asthma. However, if these symptoms are ignored, the condition is likely to worsen for anyone who is at risk to develop asthma. When the condition worsens, the symptoms become increasingly obvious. These symptoms could include wheezing, coughing and general tightness in the chest, shortness of breath, especially after basic exercise such as walking or climbing the stairs, inability to talk, inability to think clearly, drooping posture or hunched shoulders indicating that the sufferer is struggling for breath, obvious nasal flaring as they struggle to inhale, contraction in the area below the ribs and in the neck while struggling to breathe, a grey or grey-blue tint gradually appearing on the skin, often starting around the nose and mouth area. 5. Any of these signs would be indicative of what we would normally recognize to be an asthma attack. Everything about asthma up to this point seems relatively straightforward, because you will probably recognize the asthma symptoms, especially if you know someone who suffers from the condition. Asthma is a surprisingly common condition and one that most of us are familiar with to some degree. Now question raises, can asthma be cured? So answer is yes, it can be cured by naturally methods. There are lots of natural solutions that you can apply to reduce the severity of your asthma problem, but before going any further, there is one thing to remember. Every asthma sufferer is different, and it therefore follows that what is effective for one person in curbing the severity, or even getting rid of, their asthma might be completely ineffectual for someone else. In short, whilst everything that will be presented from this point on has been shown to work for some people, not everything is likely to work for you. It is therefore to a large extent a question of trial and error. Try as many of the proposed solutions or ideas as possible, run with each of them for a few days or a week, and at the end of that time, reassess your condition and situation to establish how successful you have been. However, if you follow a trial and error program, you should do so by sampling only one idea, suggestion or substance at a time. It is only by testing in this way that you can establish exactly what it is that is working for you, whereas if you try combining 3 or 4 suggestions together at the same time, you will have far less idea which that selection is the one that is beneficial. 1. Multivitamins. Whilst we probably all know that if we eat a perfectly balanced diet, we will get all of the vitamins, minerals and other nutrients we need, for many of us in the helter-skelter of everyday life, it is truly difficult to eat such a perfect diet. Consequently, if you suspect that your daily diet is in any way unbalanced or somehow deficient, so it does not provide the perfect balance of vitamins and minerals you need for consistent good health, you should consider taking a multivitamin every day. If you do so, it is generally believed that the vitamins that are most effective in keeping asthma at bay are B6 and B12, which is best combined with folic acid for maximum asthma-fighting effect. On the other hand, you should avoid taking on board too much vitamin C and magnesium, as well as excess amounts of fish-based products which may well contain omega-6, which was highlighted earlier as a potential cause of asthma. 2. Honey. Honey is believed to be effective for reducing the incidence of asthma attacks, particularly when it is combined with a natural antioxidant such as cinnamon powder or turmeric extract. If you prefer to take honey on its own, then 1 teaspoonful every day is enough to provide relief from the worst effects of asthma. If on the other hand you want to maximize the effectiveness of this particular natural treatment, then your first option is to consume the teaspoon of honey with half a teaspoonful of cinnamon powder either first thing in the morning or last thing at night. Alternatively, you can heat a teaspoon of honey so that it is really warm before mixing it with a quarter teaspoonful of turmeric powder, before consuming this potion twice every day. One other thing that you might try is to hold a jar of honey under the nose of someone who is suffering an asthma attack. In some cases, this can help to ease the sufferer's breathing by freeing up their airways whilst also making it easier for them to pull in a greater volume of air. However, in this last situation, I would still nevertheless make sure that you have their emergency nebulizer to hand, just in case this particular method doesn't work in an emergency situation. 3. Garlic. Garlic can help alleviate most of the symptoms of asthma and asthma attacks, because the active ingredients that give garlic its natural pungent aroma are also powerful natural inflammatory substances that help to reduce the tendency to suffer inflammation that is a characteristic of asthma. In order to use garlic most effectively and least offensively, boil 10 cloves of garlic in half a pint of water for 5 to 10 minutes before drinking the liquid. Whilst boiling the garlic in this way will remove a good degree of the natural pungency of the vegetable, it will still nevertheless linger on your breath, so I would recommend that you drink this last thing before you go to bed if you do not want to destroy your social life completely. Alternatively, try making a brew of ginger tea before adding 2 cloves of garlic to your cup. This combines 2 of the most powerful natural anti-inflammatory substances known to man in one drink, so by quaffing a cup of garlic-infused ginger tea first thing in the morning and last thing at night, you should once again be able to reduce the worst effects of asthma. 4. Apple cider vinegar. Apple cider vinegar is another substance that is believed to have anti-inflammatory qualities, so you can either take a teaspoonful, it can be very bitter or sour, before every meal, or you can drop 2 tablespoonfuls into a glass of warm water before drinking one every day. Eliminate dairy produce. Many asthma sufferers find that cutting down or removing dairy produce from their diet altogether provides a significant boost to their efforts to reduce the worst effects of asthma. There are many different reasons why this might be the case. In the example of cheese, you are looking at a dairy product that has been fermented, and therefore many cheese products are very rich in yeast, which can be very bad for someone who suffers from asthma. Milk-based products encourage the production of mucus. If you drink full-fat milk, you can almost feel it happening as you drink, and the last thing that any asthma sufferer needs is a foodstuff that does this, because they already have enough problems with their own natural abilities to produce more mucus than they need. If you take yogurt, even totally fat-free natural, live yogurt, you are taking on board bacteria that might irritate your body or prompt an adverse reaction. Basically, for many asthma sufferers, cutting out dairy products is something that helps them. It is therefore something that you should consider if you have not already done so. 5. Eliminate wheat, gluten-based products. Removing wheat-based products from your diet should also provide your breathing ability with a significant boost. Cakes, biscuits and commercially baked white flour bread should all be removed from your diet if at all possible. 6. Drink black coffee. Whilst it might seem a little counterintuitive to drink a caffeine-rich beverage like black coffee, it is in fact the caffeine in the drink that makes it so valuable fighting asthma. Caffeine is a powerful anti-inflammatory agent, and therefore drinking black coffee can provide a significant boost to your system's ability to withstand the worst inflammatory characteristics associated with asthma attacks. 7. Take cold showers. This one perhaps sounds a little off the wall, i.e. crazy, but the fact is that taking cold showers strengthens your immune system, and 28 promotes better blood flow, both of which will enable you to fight against asthma far more effectively. Just taking one single cold shower every day can make a massive difference to your ability to resist the worst effects or ravages of asthma, so this is definitely something that is worth trying, because devotees suggest that the positive results are almost instant. 8. Herbs for fighting asthma. In addition to ginger tea with its powerful anti-inflammatory characteristics, it is often suggested that drinking more relaxing herbal teas such as chamomile or mint tea can provide a significant boost in your efforts to defeat asthma naturally. Most devotees of herbal teas suggest that both chamomile and mint have the ability not only to relax anyone who takes them on a regular basis, but they also have anti-allergenic qualities as well. If you're trying to deal with asthma, both these teas are well worth trying, because they can help to reduce the levels of stress and anxiety in your everyday existence, whilst also minimizing the possibilities of the kind of allergic reactions that will often trigger an asthma attack. It is also suggested that both of these herbs soothe your lymph nodes too, which should again help to reduce the chances of suffering an asthma attack. Other herbs that are believed to have anti-asthma characteristics are sage and lemon balm, both of which are believed to have significant healing powers. Many other herbs are widely believed to have powerful antioxidant effects, which are once again very helpful in dealing with conditions where inflammation is an accepted problem, such as asthma. And whilst asthma itself is not a contagious disease, we have already seen that viruses can play an active role in causing asthma attacks. Consequently, the fact that many of the following herbs also have antiviral and antibacterial properties makes them even more valuable to an asthma sufferer. 9. Rosemary. Rosemary stimulates your immune system, enhances circulation and improves your digestion. It also contains exactly the kind of anti-inflammatory compounds that you need to fight asthma. Add this to the fact that it contains polyphenols, which are widely recognized to be amongst the most effective natural antiviral and antimicrobial compounds, and you can see that rosemary is a very powerful herb indeed, which can play a vital role in your fight against asthma. 10. Oregano. It is believed that the antioxidant abilities of the natural chemicals in oregano are up to 20 times more powerful than those of any other herb. It also has strong microbial characteristics, as well as being a rich source of many of the vitamins that you need in a balanced diet. Add this to the fact that it contains omega-3 fatty acids, and you have another herb that you should include in your daily diet. It's great on pizzas and pasta in particular. 11. Dill. Dill is yet another herb with acknowledged antioxidant qualities that also provides a significant source of calcium, thereby protecting against bone loss. It is also a rich source of trace minerals such as manganese, magnesium and iron, all of which you need as part of a healthy diet that you must consume in your natural battle against asthma. 12. Tarragon. Tarragon is a member of the dandelion and daisy family, a herb that is once again extremely rich in antioxidants as well as antibacterial and anti-inflammatory agents. Furthermore, it helps to strengthen your immune system and to protect your liver at the same time. 13. Motherwort. Motherwort is a herb that is highly effective for opening up the airways completely naturally, as well as having the ability to relax anyone who takes it, so that stress and anxiety, which can aggravate asthma, are both lessened. All of the herbs listed above can help in your fight against asthma. However, herbs by themselves are not a magic bullet that will get rid of your problem overnight. On the other hand, by increasing the amount of herbs you take as part of your everyday diet whilst following the other dietary guidelines in this report, you will be doing a great deal to boost your body's ability to combat asthma. There is the links in description of herb product apple cider vinegar, rosemary, oregano, dill, tarragon and motherwort. If you want to buy, check it now. Thanks for watching.